guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy Saturday. I am trying to see what you guys like best with my upload schedule. I used to do Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but now I'm thinking Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. That way I can still get great content up for you guys every single week. And I also might switch it up a little bit because I want to get videos out as soon as packages come in. And I did get this Natasha Denona beautiful palette last week, or I think it was this week actually. And I want to go ahead and film it for you guys. I am wearing the palette on my face, so we're going to talk about it. I'll let you know if I think it's worth the money. We'll do swatches. And if you want to see this like a sunset eye look that I did with this palette, you can stay toward the end. I'll put it at the end of the video. But anyways, before we dive in, if you are new, then hello, welcome. I would love for you to stick around and subscribe down below so you're notified for future videos, because again, I am kind of like switching and testing out my upload schedule. Also, make sure you hit the bell notification, which is super important, so that way you guys do get notified as soon as the video goes live. But I'm excited to share my thoughts on this palette, so let's dive in. So I am on the Natasha Denona PR list, which I am so super grateful for. That does not ever sway my opinion of palettes. I did purchase Natasha Denona palettes way before I got on the PR list, whenever I feel like her brand first came to the US, and I have always been like a diehard Natasha Denona fan. But today's palette is a little bit different because, as you guys know, normally here is the size of her most recent palettes compared to the new one. These retail for I think $125 or so, and this new one was actually retailing for $65, which I was blown away by. I really do hope that she starts changing the prices. I know there's obviously less product in here, but it's great because I feel like it's a lot more affordable. That way more people can get their hands on it. So here's what the palette looks like. But anyways, let's go ahead and dive into the swatches, and then I'll get into pros and cons, and then we'll have the tutorial at the end. So here is the palette. You get 15 different shades. So the total net weight of this palette is 19.25 grams. Where a normal palette is 2.5 grams. So I don't feel like it's not a huge difference, because it still is, but you're still getting a good amount of product in this palette. So the very first shade that we have is Poppy, and Poppy is a beautiful cranberry metallic shade. And you can just see, like, I love Natasha Denona shimmers because they just glide on so effortlessly, and they always look so like metallic and blinding. So that is Poppy. The next shade we have is Citrine, and this is a really beautiful yellow shade. Here's what it looks like on the eyes, and I did kind of incorporate this toward the inner corner of my eye. We have Phlox as the next shade. I do feel like this is kind of similar to the very first shade, but it does have more of a red tint to it. So as you can see, it's not like super similar, but they're kind of in like the same toned family as far as like this shimmer shade. Next we have Awakening, which is a beautiful lavender purple. And just so you guys can see like how pigmented these are, I'll do like 2 swatches. There it is right there. Beautiful shade. I feel like that'd be a good everyday shade too. And then the very last shade is Laurel, which is a like browner champagne color. It's not brown, but it's like it's a gold with a browner undertone. I don't feel like it's super yellowy. So there is the very first row. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, next we have Aster, which is a darker purple shade. It looks like it has flecks of maybe like blue in it. That is so gorgeous. Then we have Glory, and Glory is a purple that I actually have on the outer corner of my eye, and it was super pigmented as well. I feel like sometimes shades don't always show up as pigmented on your hands as they do on your eyes, but I really enjoyed that shade. We have Azalea next, which is what I'm wearing on my eyelids. And here is Azalea. And then we have Morgan, which is like a peachy shade. That is what I actually put down to start the eye look as my eyeshadow base. And then lastly, we have Agate, which is a more yellowy shimmer shade. This is what I actually have on my brow bone, and as you can see, it's super pigmented. So again, you guys, that is the second row. I'll give y'all a close-up. And then the very last row, as you can see, is more matte shades, and then the very last shade in it is a shimmer. So we have Clove, which is the darkest. It's more of like a brown purpley shade. There is that. Then we have Chameleon, which is what I have in the inner corner of my eyes. I'm obsessed with this. It's like a mustardy, darker, like yellow shade. And I went ahead and put 2 swatches of this on my hand so you could see it. Then we have Jasper. Jasper is like that muddy brown shade that I feel like is necessary in this color story. Then we have Morning. Now I didn't use Morning, but it's just like a really light, really good base shade. And then the very last shade we have is Dayspring. Okay, there is Dayspring. Beautiful shades right there. And again, that is the last row. Okay, so first off, let me say that I haven't watched anybody else's reviews to like sway my opinion in any way, shape, or form. I didn't actually know that this palette was $65 until I saw it on Natasha's, I think, her Instagram today, and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that they did a palette for $65. That's so awesome, because her 5-pan palettes are actually, I think, 45 or 50 bucks. So this is great because you're literally getting 15 shades. It is a little bit of a smaller palette, which I am going to put in my pros list because I feel like smaller palettes for me I like because I can travel with them. They don't take up as much space in my vanity, like my everyday vanity. And we all know this is like my kind of color story. I'm all up in the warm tones, the purples especially. And I know this might not be everybody's cup of tea for a day-to-day look, but it's mine. Like I will use this on the daily. But especially like these shades right here would be really good for your lids on a day-to-day basis. And you can incorporate some of these warmer tones, and I think that you could just come up with a bunch of really pretty warm tone looks for the summertime. I love that it still came with a mirror. Like I definitely feel like they didn't skip out on any of the details like what they would normally give us in their $100 and some palette. The mirror is really nice, and it's still in a really great like hard case. So again, I always say this, not that you should drop it, but I feel like if you drop it, it probably wouldn't like really break. So those are the pros. I feel like my eye look turned out really great. I like the colors. I feel like they worked really well together, and overall I'm super happy. With the cons, I will say a couple of the shades I don't feel like are like the exact formula that I'm used to with Natasha. Like for Azalea, it was really pretty, but I feel like there's just a tad bit of patchiness where, for example, Poppy, when you swatch it, it's like full on like bam. So I don't feel like every single shade in the palette is consistent, but Natasha always just comes out with such great formula that I feel like even this one where it's a tad bit patchy, like it still did really well on my eye. I didn't have to spritz it with Fix Plus. I didn't have to put like another base down for it, and it still looks really, really pretty. So even though I don't think it's the exact same formula as her other palettes on some of the shades, I don't know exactly how many. Oh, and that's why. It's because it's different formulas. We're learning something today. So it says the iconic duochrome's velvety matte, sparkling, and metallic textures will elevate your senses and empower you to create your very own radiant work of art. So Poppy is a metallic and Azalea is a duochrome. So I almost wonder if it would have worked better for me to press it into my lids. Let's try that really quick, actually. I don't think it made any difference really. Either way, I think my favorite for her is her metallics, which obviously I just showed you guys with the Poppy shade. So that would be my only con. Like it just depends on which formulas you like the best and if this has it in your palette. Another con is if you're not a warm tone person, probably wouldn't go toward this, or if you have a lot of warm tone palettes. I feel like sometimes we're so like excited about warm tones. I mean, I literally could own every warm tone palette that's made and just be so excited because that's like totally up my alley. But if you have a ton of warm tones and you're like, oh, I don't really want another warm tone palette, you might want to stray away from this. But overall, I mean, I like this palette. I think it's amazing that Natasha did it for $65. Ooh. Okay, about dropped it. I just think it's amazing. I really, really hope that she's able to come out with more palettes like this at the $65 price range, because I feel like it will allow more people to get their hands on it and be able to experience her formula, because Natasha just makes some of the best eyeshadows in the entire world. And again, I'm super happy with this eyeshadow look. So let me know if you guys plan on checking out this palette in the comments below. And as always, I love you, and I'm going to go ahead and dive into the tutorial. That way you can see the stuff in action. Ooh, I am excited to dig into this. Yes, Sunrise Palette. And you guys, I cannot believe it's only $65. So here's what the packaging looks like. It's a really pretty like red palette. And here are the shades. I feel like the camera is like not making them look as pretty as they are. But let's try them out. I'm gonna go in with the shade Morgan, which is like the peachy shade. I'm just gonna put this all over the lid. And I just found it very interesting and awesome that she made this palette a little bit smaller. I would preferably rather have a smaller palette because I feel like I'm probably never going to use an entire eyeshadow palette. And also this eyelash right here, I don't know if y'all can see it. It's like grew out way longer than the others, so just disregard that. I feel like I need a better blending brush because that one's kind of stiff. And then I'm going to go in and use a Gate, which is this really pretty, like champagne-y shade, kind of in the upper brow bone. And then I'm going to just blend Morgan back and forth. I mean, these colors so far are very pigmented. I don't know if she used the same formula. I can't tell so far, but it looks pretty to me. So there's that. I'm next going to go in with the shade Jasper. And Jasper's a really pretty orange shade. Look at that pigment. Yes, please. I'm just kind of keeping that low. Such a beautiful shade. You guys, I honestly love my lash extensions. I feel like it makes it so much easier. And I feel like a lot of times my looks, I like them better because I already have the lashes on. I don't have to worry about like the glue and all that kind of stuff. So far that shade's beautiful. We know how I go. I literally just go in and keep picking up shades. So I'm going to go in with Carmeline and just, I'm kind of concentrating that more in the front to almost give not like an ombre look, but I just wanted a little bit more color in the front of the lid. And I'm almost like tapping it onto. Oh, this is so pretty. I feel like I should have probably went in a little bit sooner once I had applied my eye base, because I feel like the first shadow, like it went on, but I don't feel like it's as pigmented as it could have been. And then I'm going to go in with Citrine right here. It's this really pretty yellowy shade. And I'm going to dust it toward the top. Oh, I don't know if I like that. All it kind of did was just change the orange. So I'm going to go back in with the orange. Overall, these shades are just so pretty though. We're going to go in with Glory. Let's just use all the shades in the palette. I'm going to give this more of a purpley look. They're all blending together very well. And of course, I have to go in with that brush and mess it all up. And then I think I want to go in, let's see, ooh. I don't know what to do. I think I want to do that color. It's called Azalea. That literally used to be a street that me and Snow used to live on. Okay, let's try this. Oh, I think that's really pretty. I'm just going to go back in and just kind of touch up these areas. And I am getting fallout, but that's also because I'm not even like blending. I'm just kind of like packing the colors on. Okay, and then we're going to go up underneath the lower lash line. I'm going to go back in with Glory, which is that really pretty purple. And just keep that on the bottom. And then I'm going to go in with some mascara. Okay, and that is going to complete the look. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And as always, I love you. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.